Moscow, Russia, September 25, 2025. A day before a critical UN sanctions deadline on Iran expired, Tehran and Moscow struck a landmark agreement to expand Iran's nuclear energy capacity. Iranian state television announced the deal late Thursday, underscoring the deepening strategic ties between the two nations as Western concerns over Iran's nuclear ambitions persist. According to the report, the Russian Atomic Energy Agency Rosatom and Iran's Hormuz company signed a contract valued at just over 21 billion euros. The agreement paves the way for the construction of 4 new nuclear power plants in Sirik, southern Iran. At present, Iran operates only 1 nuclear power plant, the Bushehr facility in the south. Western governments continue to voice suspicion that Iran is covertly pursuing nuclear weapons. Tehran firmly denies the accusation, reiterating that its nuclear program is intended solely for civilian power generation. The timing of the deal, just 1 day before the reinstatement of UN sanctions against Iran, highlights the geopolitical tensions surrounding Iran's nuclear program. Diplomats from Germany, France and the United Kingdom were in New York for last-minute talks with Iranian representatives during the UN General Assembly. However, negotiations had yet to produce a breakthrough. European diplomats described the situation as extremely delicate, noting that the window for a diplomatic compromise was narrowing. The signing coincided with a high-profile nuclear forum in Moscow, attended by prominent international figures. Russian President Vladimir Putin, while gesturing toward the International Atomic Energy Agency's chief Rafael Grossi, stated, "We're acting on his instructions." Later, in an informal exchange with Mohammad Islami, head of the Iranian Atomic Energy Organization, Putin remarked, "We expressed Russia's position." These remarks were captured on camera during a session that included Myanmar's junta chief Min Aung Hlaing, Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, and other regional leaders. The deal comes amid persistent Western fears that Iran's civilian nuclear program could mask military ambitions. For years, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, has monitored Iran's nuclear activities, often expressing concern over Tehran's enrichment of uranium beyond limits set by previous international accords. Tehran continues to reject such accusations. Officials insist that the new reactors are part of the country's plan to reduce its dependence on fossil fuels and expand its clean energy capacity. Iranian spokespeople reiterated that the program serves peaceful purposes only. Iran's only operational plant in Bushehr, inaugurated with Russian assistance, has long been a focal point of international debate. In 2019, Iranian authorities held a ceremony to launch construction of a second reactor at the same site. Images from that event, showing workers on site beneath the national flag, have resurfaced in recent coverage as Tehran celebrates the new agreement. The partnership between Russia and Iran in the nuclear sector reflects a broader alignment of interests, particularly as both countries face Western sanctions. Analysts say the 21 billion euro deal will bolster Iran's energy infrastructure while providing Russia with significant leverage in Middle Eastern geopolitics. The Moscow Nuclear Forum served as a stage for both symbolism and diplomacy. Video footage captured Putin walking the venue's halls, IAEA Chief Rafael Grossi engaging with delegates, and Rosatom's Chief Alexei Likhachov alongside Armenian Prime Minister Pashinyan. These moments underscored the convergence of state actors and regulators at a time of heightened nuclear sensitivities. Grossi's presence was particularly notable. As the UN's nuclear watchdog chief, his participation was viewed as a gesture of oversight and a signal that international standards would still play a role in future developments, even as Tehran and Moscow deepened their cooperation. While the deal unfolded in Moscow, attention also turned to New York, where world leaders gathered for the UN summit on the Palestinian issue. Among the notable arrivals were French President Emmanuel Macron and other European leaders who also held side meetings on Iran's nuclear file. Diplomatic sources indicated that talks between Germany, France, the UK and Iran on the sidelines of the summit were tense and inconclusive. A Western envoy warned that a last-minute agreement is not yet in sight, reflecting the uncertainty surrounding efforts to prevent the reinstatement of broader sanctions. The Sirik reactors, once operational, will significantly increase Iran's nuclear energy output and reduce its reliance on fossil fuels. Yet for Western capitals, the expansion heightens the urgency of securing ironclad guarantees that Tehran's program remains peaceful. Geopolitical experts point out that Russia's backing strengthens Iran's bargaining position in future negotiations. It also signals Moscow's intent to consolidate influence in the Middle East, particularly at a time when both countries face mounting economic and political pressure from the West. As construction plans move forward, the international community faces renewed questions over how to balance Iran's right to develop civilian nuclear energy with the imperative to prevent proliferation. The coming weeks will test the resolve of diplomats seeking to revive talks and avoid further escalation. For now, the €21 billion Moscow-Tehran deal stands as a significant development in global nuclear diplomacy, one that could reshape regional power dynamics and challenge the effectiveness of UN sanctions.